because it's funny when I run these workshops, it's almost like everyone on some level has a theme where I'll get everyone just wants to talk about love and relationships. And then I get, a group of people that just want to talk about like purpose or next steps in life, that type of stuff. And it's funny, even though I've kind of attracted people through the conversation of past lives, it really doesn't have, it does. It has a lot to do with past lives, but yet nothing to do with past lives. Okay, I just want to make sure that we are recording. Okay. Because really this entire process is about coming back to oneself. And there might be a time and space where it could be an immediate moment or it could be gradual over time, but you're like, I just feel like there's something more for me. I feel like I'm starting to kind of crack out of this matrix. And I don't know, raise of hands if anyone sort of felt that or recently or in the last few years. I know Jess and Michelle totally has, Sayla, Jessica. Okay, so everybody. Yeah, and that's really where I want to step in, is start helping people through this process of awakening. And when I was jolted into my spiritual awakening, I just had this almost internal knowledge and wisdom that came through me. And even though I knew these things, I couldn't quite translate it into the practical. I'm like, well, what do I do with it? What's my next step? How do I get this help? So that's why I'm here. And we're going to talk about some past life stuff today, but there's so much more that can be explored within oneself, because it's not just one answer. It's not just one, okay, well, I'm going to go do this one healing session. I'm going to clear it all out and my life is going to be perfect. It really is this beautiful journey and unfolding of, excuse me, of coming back into that grounded center self. So once we get through this workshop, I'll invite some of you to some things I have coming up just to assist everyone on here, because it's almost like we're all in this exact same space. But I am going to start with you, Sayla, because I think you're going to have a nice transition. And one of the things I really wish I could do is do mediumship, and that's not quite my role. I've been told I can do it, but I've shut it down for some reason. I will get there. I promise. But Sayla, okay. So Sayla reached out to me and applied, and just to kind of give some background, and I'm really sorry, Sayla, your husband's passed away.
Yeah.
So unexpected. Man, do you have children together?
Yeah, we have 2 girls. Yeah.
How are they dealing with it?
They're kids. I think they're better than me. So that's helpful at least. So they're busy. So
yeah. Well, my heart really goes out to you, because that is not an easy transition at all. But as much as we don't want to hear it, when we experience and go through things like death, it is definitely a catalyst, kind of like catapults us into a spiritual awakening, because it really isn't about, at the end of the day, from a soul level, the losing of a loved one. It really is about us having to face our own fear of death. Mm-hmm. And in the process of reincarnation, we do come to a point where we start realizing the illusion of death, and that there really is no death. We come in, we experience life in the human body, and the human body might not be able to live forever, but the soul continues on and on and on. But it doesn't take away from the human experience. But I got two phrases came up for me when I started to kind of go into this. And I got power plays and class differences. Did that play a role in your life now? Because I got this for all past life stuff.
I don't know. For what?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. I wasn't sure. But the thing that Spirit was sharing with me between specifically you and your husband is that, yes, you've had a lot of past lives together, but part of your journey has been coming together and moving through the illusions of different things like class, rankings, and status.
Okay.
And family differences too. So there always seems to be some kind of barrier in their love. It's through the separation that they both realize that there's no separation at all. So I think in this lifetime, the barrier is death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate. But there's something here for you. So here's what they want. It kind of took me down this path. And I'm curious if you resonate with this stuff,
Okay.
because you've had, oh, here we go. You've had a lot of lives exploring kind of a little of everything: spirituality, religion, upper class, lower class, like you name it. Like they gave me so many different little tidbits. It was kind of fun. The first one was more of medieval time, and you were in a class that was more higher ranked. And somehow you came along the path of this peasant who was your husband.
Mm.
There was just something between you two. Like you were immediately drawn to each other. And I don't think you ever actually developed a relationship in that life, but there was something for you in that moment that kind of sparked this, like, how do I describe it? As I was like watching it, I could like kind of see the energy of you kind of shift, because you were so focused in the class rank of things. And then he comes along and you're like, it's like the heart cracks open a little bit. I think that was probably, if we were to look at reincarnation from a linear fashion, kind of the beginning stages of your journey together.
Okay.
So that's where I started. So they gave me an image from there of an oiled log. So each of you are on the different ends, trying to reach each other, but one slides off. So like, this is what's going to happen now.
Okay.
So I asked, well, what's next? And they really want you to go into your grief.
Okay.
And she has to learn. No, I'm sorry. I was writing so fast. She has to lean into that. Don't run away from that, because there's something on the other side of it for you. So the question remains, what will she discover about herself? And one of the things that you can do too, to give you more of like a practical step versus just be like, oh, go jump into grief, is to start doing some meditations where you're focusing on your crown chakra.
Okay.
And expand this, because I think you could probably open up your own mediumship gifts.
Okay.
So a lot of people will come in through the crown. I feel like mediumship does come in through more the crown, and like intuitive, because I'm all third eye. I think that's why the crown. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud.
That's okay.
Maybe I shut that down. Maybe I should do the same thing. Let's start opening up our crown. But I got the feeling that you could probably connect deeper with some of your own gifts. Are you aware of any of those?
Sort of. I think
Oh.
I've been told, I don't know how to do it though. I've been told a lot in my life that I am very intuitive, and I do get little things, but I think just in life, you're busy, you go to work and you don't pay attention to it. And now with him being gone, it's really like made me start looking at things and thinking about things. And
I'm getting nudged. They're like, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So,
yes.
And I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel like that's what I'm being drawn to right now. Like, and I wonder if, I don't know, for whatever reason, if I had to have something like this happen in my life to catapult me into it, maybe, I don't know. So,
yeah. Yeah. Cause that was the crown thing. We're like, I was just reading this today. You should get this book.
Okay.
This is so good. Opening the channel.
Okay.
And the reason why I started reading it today, I'm going to admit this, is it does take me time to really prepare for every session, every workshop, everything I do. Because it takes me time to get into it and then start exploring the soul and like getting all the info. And I'm like, I'm kind of lazy. How can I do this quicker? I'm like, can I just figure out a way to get the guides to come in and just real time start talking? I'm like, how do people do that? So I picked this back up today. That's why I had it on my desk.
Okay.
But it's good. And
Okay.
I'm like, I bet I could do that. I won't have to prepare anything. I'm just going to show up and start talking. Okay. But they took me through just a couple more past lives for you. I thought was really interesting, because this isn't so much about you and your husband, but more of just an illustration about where you are now, because you really have come in to experience all the different like perspectives when it comes to your connection to source. So religion, spirituality, there is a past life. Okay. A past life to take her through this process, 1800s Thailand. I saw you as a little girl running in and out of those temples. So you were surrounded by a lot of monk energy. So that wasn't like your life, but you were exposed to it and sort of exploring that type of like religious, spiritual modality.
Okay.
And then, oh, here, she has a lot of experience in this, like cultivating her crown connection. So maybe you can do some meditation and try to connect with that little girl, see what happens.
Okay.
Connections to, a lot of connections to the Muslim faith. I heard devout male 1700s.
Okay.
Any connections to that faith at all?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. My husband recently, because he's always been like super into the Muslim faith for some reason, but he grew up like hardcore Catholic.
Yeah.
And he's not super into this stuff the way that I am, but I finally forced him into some healing work with my healer. I'm like, that's it. Get in there. All of these lives in the Middle East came up. Like the majority of his human history is Middle East. And I'm like, wow, it's so no wonder why. Because I always thought it was kind of weird. I'm like, why are you always talking about like the Muslim faith? I'm like,
that's cool.
Like Kansas City boy, But okay, so she needs to remember all the vast experiences she had. Now she gets to pick up and choose what feels right for her.
Okay.
Kind of now creating your own path of spirituality.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so Jessica, I feel like we could probably do an entire workshop on just you. Because I loved everything that you've had to say to me, like all of it. Because not only do I relate to it a lot, I feel like a lot of people relate to exactly what you're going through, because Jessica came to me for basically career stuff. So remind me what you're doing now. Actually, I know, but it will help everyone else.
My position right now is it's called a community behavior health liaison. So it's like working with like the jails and courts to like find people who have like mental illness or like addiction issues, where like going to jail is not appropriate. It's not going to help them. It's just going to make their life worse. And so I come in and advocate and try to help them get into a program to avoid jail so they can better their life, that kind of thing. I've been in mental health for a long time. So
that's heavy stuff.
It is. It's like I really like when I can make a difference for someone and I see it, it's fantastic, but it's also very draining. It's very, I'm constantly trying to take people at their worst stage of life and give them hope. But it's, you come home and then you don't have any other energy left for anybody else.
No. So I have a lot to say about all of that. And so this is going to be a really good education for everybody, not just you. I think I'll unpack because the stuff you sent me, I unpacked, but let's get into a little bit of your history of what's going on here. Here we go. I knew it. Sorry, I don't remember everything I write down. I like forget it and then I move on. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So she is a healer. The problem is that you're allowing other people to plug into you energetically. So we have these cords that come in and you're allowing that to happen because you're trying to heal everybody. So it takes your energy. So you're going to I know how to do it. You may want to connect with me because that is affecting you. Like it's literally taking your life force energy. So let me tell you a little thing about this. This was really cool. I didn't know this. So I got pulled into the Nordic area and then I saw a Vikings ship. This is the first time I've seen Vikings. But this is where I was excited, where I asked for a year and I got the year 900. And when I looked up, so I looked this stuff up after, and I didn't know the Vikings era was 800 to year 1050. And I was like, yes, like that was spot on. Because I don't know anything about the Vikings, and nor did I know the time. I was like 900. So that just made me feel really validated. So I had to throw that out there. Okay. So I saw as a woman on a boat. So you were a woman with these Vikings, but I didn't get that you were like a captive or anything, but you were just you're just a woman that happened to be living with Vikings, holding a baby. And they had to totally start anew on this piece of land. So obviously you guys would go from like place to place. And it just didn't feel like there was a lot of stability here. And then I got a little bit of a block, which was funny. I'm like, what is blocking here? Because when I get blocks, it means there's some pain. And I don't really know exactly what happened to you or what your role was here. But I got the feeling that you were more well respected. It wasn't like a used and abused. Maybe from our perception, it would seem like that today. But it didn't, but it felt like you were part of the Viking community. It wasn't like you were an outsider or anything like that. But there was an old man around there. And this is where I thought it was kind of funny, like looked like a troll. I think there was a troll with you guys. And I know that sounds crazy. And I'm telling you, that's like not the craziest thing I've seen. But this guy had some control over everything. And I'm like, where is this going? So here's what I asked. And Spirit said, there are some aspects of the Viking history that is still unknown to the general public today. There was a dabble in dark magic, and this is why they left such a deep impression over such a long period of time. They created great levels of instability everywhere they left a mark. Not only did they pillage, they left curses behind them, making it impossible for that community to rebuild itself. I'm like, whoa, that is crazy. So your role in all of that from a soul level, what you were doing is that you were trying to keep the portals and vortexes closed down. So you were trying to hold that energy. You were the healer because you knew what they were doing. And it was like Source, the other side, inserted you there to hold that energy before they literally demolished everything in their path. And I was wondering, I'm like, why are these savage people kind of holding their ground around you? But it was because of your vibration, like they couldn't touch you. Like the energy of you forced them to behave themselves around you, which I thought was really, really cool. So how does this relate today? And I heard she needs to stop cleaning up other people's messes. So do you do that?
Yeah. You know what else is interesting is I recently just felt really drawn to this artwork of a Viking woman in a boat, and I literally like got it and framed it and put it in my house. So,
no, you didn't.
I did, I swear. I really not that long ago at all. And my son was like, why did you get that weird pic? And I was like, I don't know. I felt really drawn to it. I could turn on the light, you can see it. But
that is so crazy. No.
You see, like there's like Viking shields. But
oh my gosh.
I love like old things. I live in an old house and I love old things. But I just felt really drawn to that. And my son was like, why? It looks like Ariana Grande in the TV show with the red hair. And I was like, I don't know. I really liked her. She just spoke to me and I had to have her. And
that is wild.
Yeah.
I am like blown out of my seat.
That was the first thought when you said that. I was like, I just bought that.
That is so crazy. Okay, sorry. That is so cool. And I like to have that level of validation, because I know like what I do, I get it, but like I'm still human, and I get these things and I'm writing it down. Like I see a troll and this and that, and you were a Viking. Like it sounds crazy. And somehow the person always validates. Because I had a client. This was so funny. And I couldn't fall asleep one night knowing I had this client on my calendar the next day. And I'm like, all right, Spirit, what do you got for me tomorrow? And they kept showing me a mountain goat. And I'm like, we're going into this session with a mountain goat. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I brought this whole thing up, but then the story behind this mountain goat was all about ascension, and that she was going through ascension. She was walking up the mountain, learning how to not be afraid of death, the way the goat will just kind of like stand, up there so high. It's because, that's really funny. I only have one painting in my bedroom, and it's a mountain goat. And she moved her camera, and just like, why do you have a painting of a mountain goat? Can we talk?
Like, who has the painting of a mountain goat? Who has a random Viking woman in a boat?
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Okay. All right, guys, let's wrap up. We're done. No, I'm kidding. But Jessica, let's go into this a little bit more then, because this is where I really feel like what you're going through is so relatable and for a lot of people. And I'm going to share my screen real quick because I want to unpack some of the stuff you said to me, because there really is a true process, not just for you, but for everybody, because we're being forced to look outside of ourselves now. This really is the era of ascension. And what is ascension? It's just the cleaning up of our consciousness. That's it. All of this past life stuff, all of these negative belief systems, karmic patterns, they're coming up for us very, very quickly. So this accounts for a lot of the anxiety, the inner turmoil, social turmoil, a lot of illness and disease is getting manifested because of the massive amounts of blocked energy and blocked emotions that are coming up at one time. And the body is like it's the caboose, right? And it's like, So that's why we're seeing all this right now. But in the process of this awakening is we're coming back to that space of self where these specific conditions, patterns, job patterns are no longer serving us, and we're getting out of it. So I'm going to share my screen. Wait, hold on. Where'd it go? Okay, I need to be a little learn how to work with my computer a little bit more because I've hooked up two screens. So give me a second.
Technology is your frenemy. It's like the best thing and the worst thing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I work with it so quickly. Here we go. I don't know what is going on here. Just give me a second. Past life session. Here we go. Okay, let me move this back over here, because I'm trying to figure out the settings between these two screens because it will consistently jump from place to place. Hold on. Did I just freeze on you guys?
No.
Okay, here we go. Share. Okay, present. And I'm not going to go through word for word on all of this, but telling me what you're doing, you're feeling like this is your life purpose, but you're not happy. So I really want to encourage you to, and this is for everybody. If you're not happy, that is a redirect. Because our soul communicates to us through excitement. So I'm sure you've heard of Abraham Hicks, where she's like, follow your excitement. It's because vibrationally speaking, our higher self can only communicate through you that way. So when you ignore that excitement, that's where you start shutting down your access to your higher purpose. So be very conscious and aware of those parts of you where you're not excited about it. And it doesn't mean that every single aspect of your life is going to be peachy and fun. But if you're waking up every day, not liking it, we got to make a shift. And here's where I was like, oh, she's going into people. So much negativity. I'm constantly draining my energy, trying to upcycle everyone else's energy. And that's the problem of a healer. That's the problem of healer. Because we unconsciously try to go in and heal everybody. That's the role of a light worker. But we have to learn how to create our energetic boundaries so we're not constantly diminishing our own energy. Because do you feel like when you're around people who do you feel like need help, do you always walk away from those situations, Jessica, feeling drained?
I don't say always. I feel like I have a friend and she always says that I am a energy recycler. This is what she always says. I don't know how you do it. So it's like, because she can come to me in a really negative space and I can get her out of that. So it like depends, because some people it works. You talk to them and they come up and you don't feel drained. But then it's really the people that are like, it's so like resistant. It's like they don't really want help. They just want to complain about how bad things are. And they just want to share their negativity instead of like trying to be better. And so you just, that's where I'm like, oh, and I'm more energy into bettering you than you are. And that's hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think that's the other learning curve here too, is you can't help people who don't want to help themselves, period.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, I should just be working with like animals and children, because they always give you all the goodness, like it's just always good. Even if they're sad, feel good with them, versus with an adult, you can't always. But working with children, then you have crappy parents, and then that's a whole new negativity.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then you have the parents, and I say this with kindness, but you have parents that are stuck in victim consciousness. And those leave really, really heavy imprints on children, ages 0 to 7.
Yes.
And that's really difficult. And I have a hard time with that too, watching that. Because the kids are going to pick up those same things.
Yes. Whenever I had to like work with an adult who's a crappy parent, I've had to actually like pass that person to someone else, because I can't focus on anything else other than like, you need to learn parenting skills, because it's so like heartbreaking that it's just like, forget everything else. Your kid. I just can't help that, that I'll end up like, they have to go to a different social worker. I can't do it.
Yeah, I hear you, that because I personally, I can't be around that either. So
you can't leave.
No, because even not next week, but in Inner Baddie, the group program, we're doing, my healer Cindy, we're coming in to do a group healing session on clearing mother programs and energies, because we've all imprinted our mother in that age. So whatever victim issues she was dealing with and imprinted from her mother, now we're taking that on. We just got to clear that all out, because that's how all this stuff works. So I can see why I wouldn't be able to deal with that any.
Really interestingly, like how I told you, like how I'm a 4/1, like it's like the bonus life. It's supposed to be like, you don't have a karma lesson you're learning in this life. And my mom is that same way. She's probably the best person like you'd ever meet. It's like having Mary Poppins as a mom. Like she's just like literally my favorite person, like my favorite human. But it's interesting that, it's like so rare, but then her and I both are that way.
Yeah. How cool. It's probably why you chose to come through her too.
Mm-hmm. We're both naturally like optimistic and friendly and happy. Like that's just kind of like, I've actually had people that are like, when they first met me, would assume that it was like fake, like that like nobody's really genuinely that like happy or friendly all the time, but I really am, and I get it from my mom. Like my personality. I'm sorry, I'm friendly.
Oh, I love that. So your mom is clearly a healer too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. So then, real quick, moving on to the next thing. The other part of me is like, no, do something serious. I'm naturally happy. So that is just your ego speaking.
That I should be doing something serious
Yeah.
to like calm down my natural happy.
Oh yeah. That's all ego. Yeah. And
That
conditioning. Because there's no right or wrong in what you want to do, but you do need to follow your excitement. You have, there's a, and I talk about this in there, I have a free, in Sōlchemy, this free program, your Magic Mission series. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I've done the first 2 days.
Oh yeah, that's right. I believe that's where I talk about this shadow frequency that of people not doing what they really want to be doing. Because the problem with that is that it's manifesting into society as this apathy feeling where there's nothing we can do to change anything. But the truth is, if everyone stepped into their dharma, what that looks like, there's no right or wrong to what your dharma looks like, but your dharma does excite you. Your dharma is your higher purpose of why you're here. There is a synchronicity that happens and an expansion into a higher frequency and higher vibration on this planet, which is naturally healing. So a lot of these issues that we're seeing of, if you really go down the rabbit hole of this shadow frequency, it's shocking because it contributes on a deep level to the disparity we see in terms of money, like poverty and rich. It also is leading to the disparities that we're seeing in Mother Nature. It leads to class differences. It starts poking in these racial differences as well. It's wild. And I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad that I'm like really trying to like pump people up to follow their dreams because this is healing the world. So don't ever knock yourself for anything that you want to do. Ever. I had a dream. Okay, I'll stop talking soon. I'll move on. But I had a dream that I was standing in a cloud. This is years ago. And there are these plush toys in the clouds. And I would go up to them and I would squeeze them and they would fart. And I thought it was so funny. And I woke up and I'm like, Javier, my husband, I'm like, Javier, the farting dog company. That's it. That's my business. That's what I'm going to do. And he goes, oh yeah, you woke me up to tell me that last night, which I didn't remember doing. And he's like, I think that's actually a really good idea. And I followed it. And I come from a very big background of medical device sales. So that's not even in the same ballpark at all. But I just knew. And I'm like, what would have happened if I didn't follow that? What would have happened if I called it stupid or not, it's not serious? But I launched and I was an Amazon bestseller in less than 2 weeks. And I got into over 350 stores nationwide. But the point is that it led me to this because people were asking how I did it. And I started doing workshops. But then people were requesting sessions from me to teach them. But then I would like intuitively start tuning in. Well, what was going wrong with their business? And I'm like, this has nothing to do with their system. This is all subconscious. This is all past life. I'm like, how am I going to transform that? Like, I can't tell these people who are coming to me to learn the Amazon algorithm that they need to go clean up a past life. Do you see where I'm going with this? Because now I'm stepping into my dharma. This is my dharma, is doing this stuff. So where your excitement leads you, your diaper cake idea might be your stepping stone.
Yeah, I've been off because of having surgery. So my cousin's about to have a baby. So I've been making her diaper cakes and I have enjoyed that more than anything in the last couple of years because I basically work 60 hours a week.
Okay. Yeah, we start putting some attention to that.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the diaper cakes?
Oh, wow.
These are going to be hot air balloons, so they'll have balloons on them and stuff.
See, that's really cool.
Those are gorgeous.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So I've been working on that since I've been home. And that's been like so nice to just play with my dogs and make something for somebody, that's
Yes.
special. I think it's also like, I like creating something, but it's because it's a gift, because I'm going to give it to somebody. It's going to mean something that makes it like special.
Yeah.
It's not just.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm begging you to not dismiss that. That is your soul speaking through you. And like I said, that might be your stepping stone. You have no idea, because we're just conditioned to think, well, if I want to make money, if I want to have this lifestyle, I have to force myself into unserious business that I don't like. And that's so not true. Your abundance, your prosperity resides where your dharma is, not your forced conditioned thinking. And I'm not saying, oh, like overnight, all of a sudden you're going to be, rich and famous. No, not at all. But there's so much more to prosperity and abundance than money. We're talking about peace of mind. So follow that, because you never know. Like if you were to have told me that creating farting plush toys would have landed me building a reincarnation platform, like that's like what? But
Well, no, when I watched your day one video, I was like, oh my God, I resonated so much with that. I was like, I totally understand exactly how you feel. I felt like you are like, do we know each other? Are we like connected? Because that is like everything you said was like, yes.
Yeah. So this is going to be a really great process for you. And I'm excited to see where you go with all of this. And I can help with all, because I've been down the path of this, and you'll have to share your diaper cakes inside of the platform, because that is really, really cool. Maybe we could do a workshop together talking about building diaper cakes and hosting parties, because I know there's people that would love to do something similar,
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm not going to get into this. I'm not, and I can send you the slide, just some of the things that you said. But I always tell people, what tools do you have today? What tools do you have today? Where is your excitement? Where does your heart lead you today? Is basically where we're at. So that's it. Okay, so we will get to Michelle now. But anything else, Jessica, before we move on?
No, thank you so much.
Okay. Michelle.
Hello.
All right, so Michelle had a very similar question in terms of focusing on career as well. And you said to me, I want to know what my job should be. How am I supposed to get there? I do not know I do know my overall mission is to enlighten people and help bring people to their truth, but I'm not sure exactly what I should be doing or how. So you are going to show people your truth by walking the path and coming back to your truth, Michelle.
Okay.
You don't need to force anything.
Okay.
Because there's a difference when we start pushing an agenda. It's like when you step into a space of alignment with your soul, that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Because what do people not like the most?
Yeah. Confrontation and stuff. Okay.
Well, being told what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so fun you're saying this. It just makes so much sense.
Yeah. People don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Even my husband, my poor hubs, like he'll say something to be nice and productive, but I just think it comes off like he's telling me what to do. And I'm like, don't tell me what to do. He's like, I'm not. But there's just like the psyche of the human does not want to be told what to do. I brought this up example multiple times. Mother Teresa, she would never go anywhere where it was anti something, anti-poverty, anti-bullying, because that's a low frequency approach. It's already going to fall flat on its face, because high frequency will always wipe out low frequency.
Yeah.
Low vibrations can only stand at its power, false power, for so long. Like the Nazi regime, David Hawkins did a vibrational breakdown of the Nazis, and it's fascinating because you can only sustain force for so long. And by the coming together of all these people and love and whatever and support, those vibrations slowly just like knocked it out. So the point being is that you can't force people to do anything other than standing in your own. So what the thing that Spirit was sharing with me is they were showing me a life in China. And this is what made me laugh. Your spirit guide said she's got that grandma energy.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. So in this lifetime, you took care of the household, and I heard like Jija. It was like a nickname for grandma or something. Jija. I kept hearing that. You were strict, but you were the home safety. You made sure the kids took their shoes off coming in. Oh yeah, that's what I saw. You're like, take your shoes off. But she always spoiled her grandchildren in all of her lives. She's a place of safety. She is home. When she feels safe herself, she is in her purpose. The world doesn't feel safe right now, and she needs to explore her needs and ask her needs what they need in order to feel safe. Stop worrying about other people and find yourself first. When she is ready, she'll know what to do. She will be a safe place for people's healing. And I did see something to do with you using your hands. It's kind of like a foreshadowing of something. I almost feel like you could be like a Reiki healer, like a light worker or something. Has that ever been of interest to you?
It has, but I just don't know how to go about it. It has come up a few times because I've kind of been put in situations where like I knew I could literally do some work right now, but like I don't know how to, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Okay, well, we can talk about that because there's a lot of different things. I mean, even like what's it called? There's like an online library of courses. It's super cheap, like or something, OM.
Okay.
And you could take these courses and just start opening up your gifts that way.
Okay.
But using your hands, but you have to start making yourself feel safe first, and getting yourself grounded, whatever that is that's going on in your life.
Okay.
Because you're not going to get to where you need to go by being ungrounded yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because once you get into that grandma energy, I love that. Grandma Michelle.
That's me. All my friends say that about me. They're like, "Are you a grandma or something?" Like,
really?
Yeah, and it's like I'm that person. Like I'm the mom of the group. Like it just happens like that.
Yeah. People love that. People, rely on that sort of energy, and you need to be that in order to give back, But you're so young, Michelle. Like, take your time. There's no rush here. I was thinking about you today as I have to read I have a animal totem for you too. Thinking about you this morning, and I was like, that age, early 20s, is so difficult. Just naturally, because you think about it, it's like you get shot out into the real world coming out of high school with these false expectations that you're just going to know what to do. You think you're going to have money because you're going to be, oh, well, I'm working, I'm going to have all this money, and you don't.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to figure it yourself out. There's not like a lot of structure to it. And I wish that I could communicate with myself at that time and like let myself know that it was going to be okay, but just give yourself space.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so real quick, they gave me spider. Oh, I almost knocked over my coffee. So they gave me like a mother spider here.
Oh, okay.
And I was reading this and I was like, okay, well, a lot of this makes sense. Oh, okay. So Okay, so this is where I laugh. The Cherokee believe that their ancestral spirit, which isn't your spirit guide a Native American?
It was, I think so, or either, yeah, I think he was native. It was native, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw him show up on a horse today. I forgot to tell you that.
Okay.
They believe that their ancestral spirit, grandmother spider, brings light to the world during times of darkness.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's just like you. And so awareness from spider. If a spider comes into your life, you are ultra sensitive and instead need self-empowerment. Consider the balance in your relationships. Some may be lopsided, and it's time for you to design a life that captures what you desire. And the energy center is the solar plexus.
Okay.
So that's it.
All right. Yeah, I've been trying to focus on that lately because at this point, it's like the only thing that's ringing in my head. It's like I need to just be safe and secure right now. Like, because right now the world, like you're saying, it's messed up and it's really scary out there. And for somebody to try to get into that world, it's like, I can't do that right now, you know? So I've been trying on myself because all my life I wasn't focusing on myself. Like I never built anything for myself. I've been doing it for other people. So it's definitely time.
Good. We'll take some time to do that because that's where that energy, that power energy is going to take you. So cool. So that is all I have for today. Now Jess and Michelle are already in Inner Baddie with me, but Sayla and Jessica, I would invite you to take a look at Inner Baddie because the whole system of it is set up to assist people in this process. Well, what's my next step? What is required of me as this unfolding happens? Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, well, I've noticed this. Well, what do I do next? What kind of support can I have? What tools are available to me? Because there's just so much more out there. And after myself going through this process of opening up my spiritual gifts, coming into alignment with my work, my DHARMA, just feeling this sense of power has been a long time process. And I'm like, you know, people don't really need to DIY everything. So take a look at that. I just created a new, how do I say it? Like a new payment plan for it. So check that out. And we're doing some stuff. We have some hypnotherapy on money coming up. We're doing some clearing, some breath work. And I'm going to set up some more what I call the Inner Baddie workshops where we collaborate with each other to kind of see our own blind spots. Because Michelle, you've been really involved in it. How has it been going for you?
Sorry. I've been enjoying it a lot, actually. It's been helping me grow. Like, it seems crazy, but I feel like I've had so much growth the past, month than I've had in so many years. Like, things just keep unfolding and everything is connecting and making sense. And now it's like all the things that are happening in the present, it's just a line. Like, it's just making so much sense. It's been very helpful.
Right. I'm just trying to take a lot of the confusion out of the path and out of the process for all of you and help everyone along their spiritual awakening. So I'll leave it at that. And that's available. And this is going on YouTube. So just so you know, that's available inside Sōlchemy, mySōlchemy.com. But thank you everyone so much for coming. If you have any follow-up questions, reach out to me anytime. Just shoot me a direct message inside Sōlchemy. But we'll leave it at that. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.